What's up guys, welcome back to another video where we're doing another pressure washer review today on the classic, not so classic, SunJoe SPX3000, but this is the new version, the XTREAM version. I was walking around my local Home Depot, they had this on sale for $199, and I've heard great things about the original SunJoe SPX3000. So I wanted to pick this one up, put it through the paces, see what kind of results it gets. I did see a review done by Matt over at Obsessed Garage on this unit, and it got pretty good numbers. I jotted them down on this napkin here. I think out of the box with all of its standard components, he was getting 1,725 PSI approximately at 1.39 GPM, and then he switched it over to a 3.0 nozzle, a 3mm orifice, and he was getting 990 PSI at 1.72 GPM. So I typically test mine on a 2.5 nozzle, so we'll see what that equates to as well. But I was really interested to see if I'm going to be able to get that 1725, 1.39 GPM, or at least close to it. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and pop this guy open, unbox it, see what it comes with, the usual deal, and put it through the paces. We'll check once again the PSI and the GPM and see how this thing stacks up. Alrighty guys, so let's go ahead and get this thing opened up and check out everything that comes with. Again, this is rated at 2200 PSI, 1.65 GPM. Now, those numbers typically are not accurate to what the actual usable pressure is of these machines. However, it's basically their max that they can get. Basically, if you shrink down the orifice size and really pump it up, you can get to that 2200 PSI. And it's also the starting pressure of the unit, because basically even with the nozzles that they give you, you don't ever reach those numbers. So as far as the GPM, it's pretty much like if you have the nozzle wide open, so pretty much zero pressure, or I think they rated it at 100 PSI, then you can get to that 1.65 GPM. However, considering that, from the review I saw from Obsessed Garage, he did with the 3.0 nozzle, he was able to, I believe he got to 1.7 GPM. So again, that's really good. If we can get to those numbers, that's great. But anyways, we're gonna go and pop this guy open and see what we got. All right guys, so here's the unit, main unit itself. We'll go ahead and pull it out of the bag. First thing to note guys is, I'll try and zoom this in for you guys a little bit, but you do have the inlet and outlet on opposite sides of the machine. Again, I love that because you're not all tangled up on one side of the machine. So I like that it comes in from two opposite sides. Right in here. Registration card, instructions. Now, there is something in here that says our most powerful tool ever. Shows how you go with Joe. Chance to win a $20 gift card. Anyways, just read through that stuff. I'm not gonna go through all that. As always, it comes with this pressure washer hose. I don't recommend these because they're too short. SunJoe does a good job of giving you a decent hose. It doesn't kink. Still a little bit cumbersome, but at least it doesn't kink like some of the Ryobi units. However, it's 20 feet long and I can't get anything done with 20 feet of hose. So I always strongly recommend to upgrade to either an UberFlex or a Flexzilla hose. They're pretty cheap, you can get them right on Amazon. I'll link them down in the description below. I'm actually gonna grab one so you guys can see it. So here is the UberFlex hose. As you can see, it's a 50 footer as opposed to 20 feet. I mean, this is just nothing. So 50 feet, also kink resistant, does a really good job of not kinking, and super, super pliable. So it's really nice to work with. And then I also recommend getting an aftermarket gun with that. I'll have two linked down below, but this one is the more expensive one. Still cheaper than like if you go through MTM or anything like that, but it has a built-in swivel, which is nice, just so that everything doesn't get tangled up on you. So as always, guys, I will be doing all of my testing using the 50-foot UberFlex hose and my aftermarket gun. I'm just not a fan of the gun and hose that these units come with. If you're trying to do it on a budget, they work fine. You can get away with it. The hose for sure, 20 feet long, is just, it's too short. The gun is okay, but I prefer using an aftermarket gun. One thing to note for the SunJoe pressure washers, if you watched my last review on the SPX3004, these SunJoe pressure washers use an M22 by 15 millimeter connection point for the hose, and all the other brands, including the aftermarket hoses, use an M22 by 14 millimeter, meaning if you connect this hose to the unit, this inner piece here is too small, so it won't completely seat inside there, and you'll get a leak. So just make sure, if you're gonna be upgrading your hose, make sure to get the attachment. It's an M22 by 15 to an M22 by 14, so you can plug it all together. That'll be linked down in the description below as well. Super easy to use. You literally screw it on and then you screw the hose onto that. So, and then on top of that, you can add quick connects or whatever else you'd like. All right, so here's your gun. Typical SunJoe gun, it's just plastic housing. Let me go and pop it out of here. All right, so the typical SunJoe gun, their colored trigger there, and the metal wand extension. And then you're also going to be getting a 0-degree nozzle, 15, 25, and a 40-degree nozzle. It comes with the unit. Again, I'm not gonna be, I will be testing the pressure with these nozzles because these are the factory ones they come with. I wanna use the orifice size, or the size of the hole within inside of the nozzle to get the results that we need. Because this is what it comes with, this is how we're gonna get our most accurate reading for this pressure washer. And then I'll bump it up, and like I said in the Obsessed Garage video, he did a 3 nozzle. I'm gonna be doing a 2.5 most likely. That's usually what I use. So, but yeah, we'll check that in a second. Next thing is the little upper piece of the unit. It does come with screws, so you just slide it on in like that. Yeah, and then screws go in the back to hold it all in. It comes with them. I'm not gonna go through all that process because I don't need to. I'm just gonna be testing out the unit itself. I'm not gonna be actually utilizing this whole upper area anyway. But just so you guys can see, it is all here. There we go. And once again, which is kind of nice, it comes with a little cutout right here, and they give you a little foam dispenser. Now, this thing will foam, I don't know if you can see, but there's actually kind of a steel mesh inside of there that will cause it to foam, for sure. Now, I don't think it's not gonna have the fan adjustment, which is pretty important, otherwise you're just getting a straight stream of foam. Again, it does work, but it's not ideal. But since they give it to you, it's a cool feature. I'm a big fan of them giving you this as opposed to an onboard soap dispensing solution. I don't like those at all. The reason I don't like those is if you do want to use the soap and you trigger it on, that soap's going through the hose and you're spraying it out, you turn it off, you still have residual soap in that hose, and I don't like that. So this at least connects to the front of it. You're not gonna get any residual soap or anything like that in the hose, and it's a better solution. I do recommend getting an aftermarket one of these as well. I'll link some of my foam cannon reviews right up top here and down in the description below. The main one that I really like uses brass fittings on the top and the bottom. I was looking at it yesterday. It's currently sold out, but I did find an alternative solution that does have the brass fittings as well, so I'll link that for you guys. The last thing here is just a couple more attachments that bolt onto here. So again, I'm not going to screw these down, but I will show you guys where they go. So first one just goes right in the front here. This is to hold your hose. If I can get it to, there you go. So the hose hangs onto there. Then we have your gun holder. Kind of that kind of deal. Should hold it all together. Goes right on this side. Just pops down into place. And then the last one is a good question. Figured it out. It actually goes right down here, clips in the front, and then you can use the screw on the bottom. And it's just a little holding tray for the pressure washer gun. So again, not going to put that on. Actually going to take these off right now. But just so you guys have an idea where they go and what they give you for options of storage on this unit. Alrighty, and last but not least, the ever important little adapter so that you can screw on your water source. These are super important because on the machine itself, it is just a really soft plastic basically. It's just plastic and you can strip that out. So with this, you at least get to put it on there the one time, and then you have a nice, much stronger solution here to attach your hose so you don't have to worry about stripping out. And that goes right on here. All right, guys, other than that, a couple of other just quick features. You get a 35-foot extension, 35-foot power cord, pretty standard across all these machines, and it does have the GC5, GFCI, whatever ground fault circuit interrupter outlet on it. So really good, so water damage, you don't have to worry about it getting electrocuted. This will shut the machine off. Alrighty, I think that is it. So we're going to go ahead and first off, I'm going to get my adapter to put on the back of the unit so that I can use the aftermarket hose, and then we'll plug this thing in, get it all set, and we will start testing the PSI levels on this unit. Alrighty guys, so I'm going to go ahead and this is the adapter. So this side that fits on the machine is an M22 by 15. The outer diameter, or the extension that's going to be coming off, is an M22 14. So this is the adapter you need. Super cheap. I think it's like $8 or $10 or something like that. But definitely important if you're going to be upgrading your hose, which I highly recommend you do. Alrighty. Now I'm going to be taking the hose, screwing that right into this piece. There we go, that's all set. Alrighty, and last but not least, we're going to be hooking up MTM's pressure washer gauge, pressure gauge straight into the unit, or into our hose, right between the hose and the gun. So we'll be able to get our accurate readings right here on what the PSI levels are. So I'm just going to run it over to the end of the shop here, hook it up to a water source. We are going to be running it with the 40-degree nozzle. And all of these nozzles that these pressure washers come with are the same sized orifice, again, which is the hole inside. So we don't have to test all of them. They will put out the exact same pressure and gallons per minute rating regardless of the fan size. So we're using the 40 degree. Gonna go ahead and plug it right in. If I can get it on there. There we go. We're all set, and we're gonna go ahead and start testing this thing out. One thing to note, guys, is the wheels feel really good, really solid, really quiet. So first things first, just turn on the water pressure, and there's no leaks in the machine, so that's good. We're gonna go ahead and purge out a little bit of the air. And we'll go ahead and fire up the machine now. As you can see when I did the unboxing, that toggle switch right on the front is the on-off switch. This one's simple, there's no other adjustments like on the SPX3004 Max that I just reviewed. This one's just one switch, super simple. Okay, all set up. Feels good. And once again, you can tell it has the total stop system, meaning once it pressurizes, the machine goes completely quiet. We're gonna go ahead and test the PSI. Here we go. So as you can see right now, it's reading, I don't know, almost 500. That's just the built-up pressure in the hose. Once we pull the trigger, it will get an accurate reading. Little air in there for that. Make sure we're okay here. Yeah, and I guess we're getting what he was getting. It's basically 1700, a smidge over, so he estimated it between 1710 and 1720 on Obsessed Garage, 1725 on Obsessed Garage. So I would say that's accurate. As you can see on this thing, it's not like super dialed in. It's just a pretty basic pressure gauge. So, but yeah, that seems like the exact same number. So now we're gonna go ahead and test. I'm gonna switch this one out. And actually, we'll go ahead and test the gallons per minute rating now with this nozzle and see what we get. Alrighty, so on Obsessed Garage, they do the weigh method of testing the GPM. They take the total weight of 1 minute of water flow, subtract the bucket weight, and then divide that by 8.33 or 8.34, which is the weight of a gallon of water. For us, we're gonna just be using this bucket here that has all the measurements on it. So we don't have to deal with any calculations. We're just gonna see exactly where this lays and see what that says. Let me go ahead and grab my phone for a stopwatch and we'll test this thing out. All right, once again, we're just gonna run it for 1 minute. And here we go. Let's let that settle. I'll bring you guys in a bit closer if I can here. All right, so we're sitting at 1 gallon and slightly above 1 mark. Let's see here, that's 1, 2, here we go, 2, that's 4.5, say 4.6 quarts basically. Let's see here. 4.5 quarts in gallons. So I'm getting 1.125 GPM versus Obsessed Garage got 1.39 with the same nozzle. So the math just might be off a little bit. Let's see here. 1.39 would be, yeah, it'd be up at like 5.5 of this. So yeah, I'm getting 1.125 gallons per minute, not 1.39. That actually sounds more accurate compared to all of the other pressure washers that I've done other than the active pressure washers. So I'm gonna go with that number, 1.125. We're gonna switch out the orifice now, or the nozzle. Because that number's so low, I'll test it out. Yeah, I'm gonna go to my 2.5 millimeter nozzle and see what that gets. All right guys, so I'm going to go ahead and attach my 2.5 millimeter orifice, 40-degree nozzle. There we are. And we'll check the pressure. All right, so with that nozzle, we're sitting at 1100 PSI. Again, pretty standard across the board. Compared to the Ryobi units, everything, even the 1600 PSI Ryobi unit for $100 is getting these same numbers. So I don't know if it's like the exact same pump or basically the same specs of pump. If you want more pressure and more, or at least more water flow, definitely check out the active pressure washer review I did. Active and Cat brand, they get way more GPM, incredible units. Even their cheaper one, I think it's 115, is an incredible unit. I think that one was getting, I can't remember off the top of my head, but video is linked up here, go check that one out. But now with this nozzle, we're gonna go ahead and check the GPM and see what we get. Alrighty guys, same method. Nozzle in. Timer for 1 minute, and here we go. Alrighty, let's let this even out a little bit. So we definitely increased our GPM by a full quart. So let's see here, what's 1 quart in gallons? Because that'll tell us our exact increase. 1 quart is 0.25 gallons. So if we are at 5.5 quarts. So now we are getting 1.375 gallons per minute, which seems way more accurate in my opinion than what Matt got on Obsessed Garage. All right guys, so just grab my napkin again. I'm getting 1.375 GPM with the 2.5 nozzle. He reported 1.72 with the 3.0 nozzle. I don't see how that's possible. I know he's very detailed. He also did state this was his pressure washer review number like 81, so maybe he's getting a little bit sloppy. But huge respect to that guy, so I appreciate everything he's done. It's just the 1.72 number seems crazy to me. I don't know how you get that when the machine says that its max rating is 1.65. So again, I don't understand how he would get that number. I'm going to go ahead just to test and make sure that my numbers are accurate here. I'm gonna take the nozzle off completely. So it's gonna be wide open, basically zero pressure. It's under 100 PSI to do that. And I'm gonna test the water flow with it for 1 minute with that and see if we get, we'll see what kind of numbers we get there. Alrighty, so we just emptied out the bucket. Throw on the top. Once again, removing the nozzle completely. No nozzle on it at all. Wide open orifice. Put it in. And once again, we will go to stopwatch. 1 minute. Here we go. All right. So that doesn't help me at all. All right, guys, so now with it wide open, we're definitely getting more than 1.65 GPM. We're actually getting just under a full 2 gallons per minute. But again, with like 0 pressure. So again, with that he said he was getting 990 PSI at 1.72 GPM. I don't see how that's possible. I have a 3.5. I don't know where my 3.0 nozzle is, but I have a 3.5. So I'm gonna switch over to that and try and get another reading on that. We're just trying to get the most accurate reading possible here, guys, because again, Obsessed Garage is very detailed in what he does. So I wanna make sure that we're getting accurate readings. We did get the same exact pressure reading. It's just the GPM is off. He's doing the weigh bucket method and mine's direct measured out right here. So just trying to figure out which one's more accurate. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to 3.5 and test it. All right, guys, so here is the nozzle. I don't know if you can see, I'll try and focus on it for you, but it actually says on there, it says 40035, which stands for 40 degree nozzle, 3.5 millimeter orifice. So we're gonna go ahead and try that out, see what kind of numbers we get. I'm expecting this to come in. So on my 2.5, I was getting 1100 PSI. In his video, he was on a 3.0 getting 990. So I'm assuming this is gonna come around somewhere in the 800 range. Anyways, let's check it out. Oops, sorry, wrong way. Yeah, it's sitting on 800 exactly, so that's good to know. We're accurate on our orifice sizes, because that makes sense that they're right in between each other. We're gonna go and test out the GPM on this. Now, with all my readings, if this comes in under that 1.72, I don't know. Then the weighing method's just slightly off, but they're pretty close, I guess, actually. So, anyways, here we go. Alright, you guys, moment of truth here. So I was just thinking while I was running that, just thinking about in his video, he did mention that when he was putting on that new nozzle, the 3.0, he was expecting something around 1.5 GPM, which sounds more accurate to me as well. So now we're gonna go and check this. This is the 3.5. So if this comes in lower than his 1.72 or even as close, I think they just messed up on their math. And it should be somewhere around that 1.5 GPM with that 3/0 orifice. But let's see. We are at 6 quarts exactly. So, and plug that in. Actually, that's exactly 1.5 GPM right there. Let me just double check. Sorry here, guys. I'm messing with my phone here. Okay. 6 quarts. Yeah. Yep. There it is, guys. 6 quarts equal to 1.5 gallons per minute. So yeah, definitely Obsessed Garage messed up on that calculation. They're definitely not getting 1.72 out of that machine. There's no way possible. I'm on the 3.5 millimeter orifice nozzle, getting 800 PSI at 1.5 GPM. On the 2.5 nozzle, I got 1100 at 1.35 or 1.375 or something like that. So he was probably sitting about 1.4, 1.45 GPM with that 3 millimeter orifice. So definitely not 1.72, guys. Make sure you're not expecting that kind of water flow. If you want that kind of water flow, you're gonna wanna go with the active pressure washers. That's it, guys. That's your review. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We'll be doing more pressure washer reviews. We actually have, a lot of people have been requesting the the new battery powered pressure washers from DeWalt, Ryobi, all those kinds of things. So I actually have the DeWalt one here, the Ryobi is on order, and I have one from Works coming as well. So we're gonna be testing those guys out and seeing if they're applicable for anything really. So anyways, make sure you like and subscribe. We appreciate it. We'll see you guys on the next one.